Good afternoon. Had a quick thought came to mind. Y'all know how I do from time to time. I was looking at something and I came across that the schools, I think in New York, according to Governor Cuomo, is going to open up, and then they use the term carefully. Without dragging the situation out, it made me think about some other things. It made me think about like this experience that we got with this pandemic situation going on in education has brought my thinking even sharper into the reality why it's absolutely necessary for us to teach our children other skills. I was sitting there and I was thinking to myself, I said, during this entire process, what I've seen and watching the news and like anything else, talking to different people, is that I want to reiterate what I said before. Education is essential. Education comes in many forms. Some people were tasked with the responsibilities of obviously having to kind of guide their kids, because everybody can't teach, but guide their kids in the format of what was being taught to them before they actually were home and not able to actually go into the schools. And as some of us parents saw along the way, that teaching is an art form, and it's a very unique skill set that is required of a person to be able to do it. Everybody can't teach, at least not from the perspective of dealing with a educational perspective. Now, with that being said, it got me to thinking about my own, schooling, for lack of terms. And I sit back and I think about how I learned quite a bit of information over the period of years of being in school. And some things I believe in my mind is more beneficial than others. There are some things that I always viewed as things I probably won't need in life, versus, things that I think are essential to everyday functionality of life. So start thinking, and I listened to a gentleman that was expressing his feelings about schools being more designed, because when you tie that into the business element of the world, schools are a business. And I've always felt like this about even higher education, higher learning education of college and all of these different things. It's a business. I'm not saying it's not an important business, but it is a business. And I think that if nothing else, what school actually does is it's supposed to actually support, it's actually flipped in the mindset of most people. It's supposed to actually support what actually is supposed to begin at home. So the ability for your kids to go to school and understand basic mathematics, English understanding, grammar and how to write things in the correct perspective, things about science and different things of that nature. If you really think about it, all of these things, when they go to school, they have individual, especially once you get to a certain grade level, individual teachers that are experts and focus on educating the child from that particular field of study or in that particular subject. Now, as parents, we have to trust that when we send our kids to school that they're being educated on things that we aren't as sharp on, possibly because either one, we were never taught those things, or we were uninterested into them, not very, knowledgeable about them. But you go there and every person has the ability to be able to teach your child that field or that particular subject. But once again, I want to reiterate it all starts at home. Understanding that our children require a well-rounded, just like a good diet, they need a diet of education. And so the point that I'm making in it from the business, it's a business perspective, is that I believe that schools are institutions that are more groomed and designed to teach our children how to be, how can I say, employees, or people who know how to follow rules and understand things and go into the situation from the perspective of this is how you do things, this is how it's supposed to go, and so on and so forth, versus a lot more of the entrepreneurship elements of things, in my opinion. Now, everybody is not going to be an employee and everybody's not going to be an entrepreneur. But I think if you tie in what I'm saying into these current times, the people, not only the children, or not only the adults, but the children as well, who have learned to identify with a particular skill set or ability that they have, enhance that and open their mindset to the possibility of that being a source of income for them or a way that they can be able to survive. The people who are taking advantage of that opportunity at this very moment are people who are going to learn or going to consistently, in my opinion, survive even in the face of things like we're facing now. So my point in a nutshell, so I can wrap it up because it's already been quite a period of time, is that I'm not in opposition of school. I think it has a very important place in a child's development. But I also believe that we need to, as the parents and adults, reclaim ownership of what our responsibility is in terms of it all starts at home. And that school is to enhance the education that you're bestowing upon, your children. So as we go through the process of where this next school year is going, and not knowing if it'll be more remote learning or if they're going to go in and all of these other things, the worst thing that could ever happen is for a child to look towards a parent and see that they don't have a plan. So developing a plan, developing an understanding that education starts at home is what's going to help be able to create that strong educational foundation that our children need in order to continue to survive and move forward in terms of, becoming educated. Once again, that was just my thought. And like I said, it's not a knock against anything, anybody, or, the concept and the reasons and the importance of school versus, learning to be entrepreneurs and all these things. It was more a situation of reiterating the reality that we collectively, as parents and those who take care of children, we have an inherited responsibility to always remember that it always starts at home first. Don't allow our children to go into an environment not believing that their first teacher is the teacher that they wake up to every morning at home, who is going to help them with these things in life. Appreciate the time as always, family. Like I always say, man, keep supporting one another, loving on one another, and all these different things in the face of this adversity, and we will make it through this. And just continue to just have a blessed day and keep on living. All right, y'all. Peace.